Homeschooling kindergarten? Where to start? That's exactly what we're talking about today. And by the end of this video, I will have answered that question. I will give you some tricks or tips on what not to do, and I'll give you a link to a resource where I've broken down the different subjects of what normal kindergartners should learn into more I can teach sentences rather than the gobbledygook that you'll read if you're reading about standards. So what not to do? What you don't want to do in kindergarten is squish the joy of learning out from your kindergartner's fingers and toes. You don't want to strap them to a table and chain them down. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, especially when they're at home, should be so much more about delighting and exploring and discovering. Kindergarten is not about paperwork and textbooks. It's about learning to share, learning to do the right thing, polishing your manners, putting things back where they belong. So Becky, just tell me, where should I start with kindergarten? I want you to remember circle time. Remember when you were in kindergarten and the teacher would sit there and all the kids would circle up, and then you would do a very repeated cycle of things every single day. You would talk about what day of the week it was. You would sing the days of the week song. You would talk about the weather, go through colors and shapes, and listen to a story. I want you to embrace circle time, because this is where the magic of homeschooling can really shine. Now, Becky, I have kids of multiple ages and stages. That's fantastic. When I did circle time with my kids, I had all 5 of my kids participate. The oldest was probably in 6th or 7th grade, still sitting at the table with the little kids singing, "There are 7 days, there are 7 days, there are 7 days in a week." And the reason that it was so powerful to have him at the table with the littles is his presence validated how important all of those things were. So let me give you a kind of a tour of the types of things that you can do with circle time and how you can do it on the cheap. Ready? Circle time only needs to be about 20 minutes out of your day. You start your day in the morning where all the kids are gathered in the same space. We met at my kitchen table, and the kids would sit around or be strapped into a high chair, and then we would run through different things on our story boards that we had. Now, I had a cabinet that had doors, and on the inside of the doors, I had a calendar, I had colors and shapes, I had a weather chart and the weather bear, I had our memory verse, that's where I kept my flashcards. And the reason I loved that cabinet was that we could close it and it would kind of eliminate that visual clutter. I love it. I love all things classroom. I've always wanted to be a teacher, so it never bothered me, but my husband loves things neat and tidy. So hiding these things inside your kitchen cabinets or inside of a cupboard or even on the inside of a door, like a closet door that swings open, may be exactly what you need. So let's talk about each one of these elements one at a time. Calendar is not just for telling what days of the week it is. Calendar is an amazing way to introduce and familiarize and practice numbers and counting with your kids. So you have a template where you go through the days of the week every day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we start again, or whatever song you sing. So days of the week. Then say it's the 11th of January. I don't know what day of the week it is when this video comes, but if it's the 11th, you would put the 11 on the calendar, and then you would count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, all the way up till 11. Tomorrow you'll count till 12. The next day you'll count to 13. And every single day you're reviewing the days of the week, where that day, the date, today's date, where it is on the calendar, and you're practicing counting. Now, a secret tip is to have craft sticks or straws. And so every day you add a new counter into a jar. So on the first day of the month, you add a 1. On the second day of the month, you add a 2, then another 1. So now there's 2. And you keep those going for every day of the school year. There are about 180 days in a school year. So every day you're putting in a new popsicle stick. Every time you get to 10, you bundle it together with a rubber band. And so you're counting the day according to the calendar. You have a jar that's counting how many days of school or life you are experiencing together. And you're teaching the kids to group by tens to make easy counting later. And so you're reviewing counting numbers every day, just using the calendar. Now I use a whiteboard. And so on our whiteboard, I would write, today is Tuesday, January 11th, 2000, whatever the year. And then we would write the date on there. We would do tally marks, just all the ways that you can represent numbers. So don't hesitate to do that. You can print calendars off for free. I hit a school blowout sale one time, and I was able to get all kinds of goodies like pocket charts and the little clocks and things, all kinds of hands-on stuff. So you can have your kids review or learn anything during circle time. You can have them skip count. You can have them practice their shapes. You can practice memorizing mathematic formulas, words, memory verses, all kinds of stuff. The key is to make it colorful and to have different 4 to 6 categories of things that you're practicing every single day. So in our house, we had the calendar where we were counting days of the week, we were counting days of the month, counting the school days of the year. We had weather. So at the time when this was in full swing, we lived in San Diego, which meant boring weather because it was always sunny and beautiful. But it's super important that you look out the window. You explain what you see in the sky. Are there rainbows? Are there clouds? Is it windy outside? What's the weather like? Do you need any special clothing? Just those types of things. They make a really cool thing called Weather Bear. And we had Weather Bear, and the little kids love to dress the Weather Bear for the appropriate weather every day. But we also used circle time to work on our memory verses. In our house, in a Christian home, it was very important that the kids memorized God's word or nursery rhymes and all of these things. And we used circle time to practice the memory verse together. And then about once a week, the kids would take turns standing up and present what they learned, what they memorized. And that's actually a secret tip. Once they understand how circle time works, you can give kids different responsibilities. Your daughter can be in charge of the calendar. Your next daughter can be in charge of shapes and weather. The son can be in charge of flashcards or memory verses. And it's a really fun way to make it interactive. So memory work. So you finish off circle time with a story. This does a couple things, because when you do silly songs and you're practicing memory verses, everybody gets kind of squirrely. So the last thing that we always did was we would go to the living room and the kids would sit on the carpet and I would read aloud a story, or the oldest kid would read aloud a story. And so you look at the cover, you talk about what you see, you talk about, what do you think is going to happen? And then you hold the story just like a kindergarten teacher, and you read, and then I'm assuming that you have more than one kid, because I did. I was outnumbered. But then you show the pictures. Just having them sit in front of you, it's a different skill than having them snuggle next to you on the sofa. That's wonderful too. Don't skip that part either. But read aloud and hold the story And then you're pointing to things and you're asking questions and you're interacting with them with the story. And then the last part of circle time is a quick snack, potty break, and then you jump into the next thing in your schedule. So where to begin with kindergarten? Start with circle time. Include the entire family, give people jobs, decide a month at a time the things that you want your kids to be learning and mastering, and weave those into that magic 20-minute pocket of time. Again, check the links below, and I'll have links to everything that I talked about and anything that I forgot to mention. And I'll see you in the next video.